What's up, Guardians, and welcome back to another how-to solo flawless guide for 2025. Today we're going to be going over the dungeon Ghost of the Deep. I'm not gonna lie, this one's tough. This one took some effort to get through, but with our guide we're going to be covering every build that you'll need, every encounter, every pitfall that we ran into in our runs. Quickly, we're going to go over the build we used for the first encounter. Luckily we don't have to change too much, but we are starting with the Arc Titan, specifically the Thunder Crash. We are running Rally Barricade, High Lift, Thunderclap, Pulse Grenade, Storm's Keep, Knockout, Spark of Shock, Spark of Feedback, Spark of Resistance, Spark of Frequency. For our weapons, we ran the new Barrow Dyad. We ran Null Composure, but this can easily be changed out to any other fusion rifle, like the new Afterlight from this season, or a tried and true Cartesian Coordinate. And for our heavy, we started with the Corrective Measure. Feel free to use whatever's comfortable with you. For our exotic armor, we use the Insurmountable Skull Fort. We'll quickly go over the mods we used for our armor. We used Hands-On with Heavy Ammo Finder, Heavy-Handed, as well as Void Loader. We use Concussive Dampener with 2 arc resistances, as well as Recuperation for any time we pick up an orb, Void Scavenger, and a Void Weapon Surge. For our mark, we used Bomber, Powerful Attraction, and Reaper. For our artifact, it's going to look a little weird. Trust me, we use this later. I wanted to get the artifact the way we were going to use it the entire time. So this is it. This is how we use the artifact throughout this dungeon. So feel free to copy over what we used here to replicate our build. How this encounter works is once you put down the rally flag, you'll have 2 knights in front of you. Take out those knights, and then you will be greeted with an ogre coming down one of the 3 lanes. Kill the ogre, and a green trail will be on the ground. Follow this green trail through 3 to 4 sets of ads. Along the way, you're going to be seeing symbols in the sky. Be sure to remember which symbol is present for this stretch of the encounter. You'll know you're at the end piece of this stretch when you have a Hive Guardian and you eliminate and crush the ghost. Once you crush the ghost, head back to the main area where you've placed your rally flag. You'll have to kill a witch to get a buff to be able to see where to dunk this buff. Once you dunk the buff, this whole cycle repeats itself. You'll have to do this 4 times in total, which is very unsatisfying. But once you do, you'll be greeted with loot from the encounter, and then you will be going to the next encounter. Once you get through the jump puzzle, we will be at the second encounter. For the second encounter, we ran a Strand Titan, running Tower Barricade, High Lift, Frenzied Blade, as well as Shackle Grenade. We went with the Banner of War aspect, as well as Into the Fray. For our fragments, we ran Thread of Propagation, Thread of Generation, and Thread of Fury. Additionally, we used Thread of Warding. For our weapons, we used the Breachlight Sidearm, as well as the Cartesian Coordinate and the Lament Sword. For our mods on our armor, we ran the Harmonic Siphon to match our Breachlight Sidearm, as well as heavy Hands-On, Heavy-Handed for our arms, as well as Momentum Transfer and Impact Induction. We used Concussive Dampener, and we used 2 Lucent Blade mods, as well as Recuperation, Invigoration, and a Solar Weapon Surge. For our mark, we used Outreach, Powerful Attraction, and Reaper. How this encounter starts is you'll have 4 acolytes on the ground praising the Hive Guardian. Take them out, and then you will have to take out 3 knights around the room. You could do left or start from the right. Either one works. Once you eliminate all 3 knights, you will have to kill an ogre at the very top of the room. Once you kill the ogre, you could head back to where the Hive Guardian was being praised, and there will be a deep sight there. So use the deep sight to see the symbols on the side walls. Once you have your 3 symbols, you will drop down into the pool below, where you will be being chased by the Hive Guardian at all times. Be sure to grab bubbles to regain your health and air down in the pool. Walk around, get familiar with the room, and stay away from the boss. You'll have to interact with the same 3 symbols you saw upstairs in the room above. So if you saw the minus sign, interact with the minus sign. There are official callouts for these, but whatever works for you, just remember the 3 in the room up above, and you're fine. Once you've collected all 3 sets of your symbols, you will head back up to the main room. In the main room, you will have to take out 3 Hive Guardians, crush their ghost, and dunk them in the statues up the stairs, and at the very top of the encounter. There should be 3 in total. On the 3rd dunk, you will then have to go back to where you originally put your rally flag to eliminate a knight. Once you eliminate the knight, an area of effect will be on the ground, which will allow you to break the main boss's shield. Once you're in the pool, begin hacking away at the boss with your lament. Charge it up, use your light attacks, use your heavy attacks. If you get in trouble, use your Frenzy Blade ultimate to re-get Banner of War on an ad around you. Rinse, repeat this whole cycle 5 or 6 times, and then you will eventually be greeted with loot and be ready to go to the final encounter. If you've made it this far in the dungeon, you can easily defeat the final boss with the build that we have here. So we used the same subclass as we did for the first encounter, same fragments, same aspects. From a weapon perspective, we used the Refusal of the Call Adept Glaive. The only reason we used this was for pure defense capabilities if we needed it. We didn't need it too much on our run. We used the Reckless Oracle specifically with the destabilizing rounds and the repulsor brace, so we would constantly have the overshield at any point in this encounter. And lastly, we used the Microcosm Trace Rifle for our exotic to break the shield of the witch from a distance without having to use Arbalest, which was the previous method to break the Hive shield. From the mods on our armor, we stuck with the same for our helmet. We did switch around to a kinetic loader to help our microcosm, as well as 2 arc resistances and a kinetic weapon surge, as well as a kinetic scavenger mod. This is where our artifact now really comes into play for our trace rifle build and our glaive extra damage type build. How this encounter works is you will start by crushing the ghost at the center of Oryx. Ads will begin to spawn. I shot the moths as fast as I could, as these will track you around the map. The Hive Knight that is charging you here will be the main piece of the objective. So we need to kill this Hive Knight in the correct location. So in this video here that we're seeing, we have the top of Oryx's head. That's where we need to be, as we can see the green lines creating a triangle, so that way we know exactly which 3 zones we need to work in. Once you've eliminated the Hive Knight in all 3 zones, and we have all 3 symbols, we can then begin collecting the buff to each of these zones by killing the side room Hive Guardians. Each room that you go into has a designated symbol to it. Be sure to dunk the correct symbol from the side room to the Oryx room. If you mess this up in any way, you will die. After you've collected your 3rd and final buff to begin damage phase, I would suggest switching your exotic armor pieces around in the pools. And I would switch this from a Insurmountable Skull Fort to a Cuirass of the Falling Star. This will give you a little bit more damage during the damage phase. Damage phase will begin as soon as you dunk your last buff into the correct zone, put down your rally barricade, shoot with microcosm to get the shield down, utilize your thunder crash ability so that way you can do a nice chunk of damage on the boss. I would suggest running then back to your rally barricade or putting a new one down, and then utilize microcosm again until the end of damage phase. Once you've completed your first round of damage phase, we begin the steps over it again. I would say 5 to 6 times would roughly be about the safe guess here. Thunder Crash does a tremendous amount of damage with the artifact mods we have, but after doing all these steps, you should be able to finally collect the Ghoul title as well as the emblem for completing the solo flawless Ghost of the Deep dungeon. If you've made it this far, I want to say thank you. Your viewership means so much to me. If you could, just leave a like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if you finally got the solo flawless Ghost of the Deep dungeon completed. But that's it. That's all I got. Play your life. Be safe. Take it easy.
Where's the ghost? Where's the ghost? Get him!